Lovely to have you here. And a big welcome also to Professor Anthony Ambala, who's going to introduce the book to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Brenda. And thanks to all of you. Good evening. We're really grateful that you've made time to come here today to celebrate this very special moment, the launch of Landi's brand new and latest monograph, right? A round of applause for her. And I'm deliberately saying latest because I know there's a pipeline of a few more coming through, right? So we'll have many more of these sessions. It's also a chance for us to enjoy the exhibition that Landi has put up for us. She'll talk about it a bit more. Now, her book is titled District 9, Johannesburg as Nostalgic Dystopia. And it critically reads Neil Blomkamp's film, District 9. Now, book launches are celebratory moments, the culmination of hundreds, if not thousands of hours of research, of critical thinking, of writing. And I must say, the book is exceptionally well written, very crisp, very easy to read, complex language, but very accessible, right? And I know this sounds a bit like an oxymoron, but read it and you'll see, you'll get to understand what I'm talking about. It's therefore a pleasure to have all of you here to celebrate the unveiling of this book that I find very, very provoking, very challenging, and very engaging. For me, this work is more than a book. It is a multi- and transdisciplinary exploration of Johannesburg's complex identity with a sharp focus on its portrayal in film. And what Landi does so expertly, so exquisitely in the book is she's able to draw on other South African films, documentaries and fiction films that speak about Johannesburg as a city. The work straddles multiple disciplines, from film studies, obviously, to photography, city studies, nostalgia studies, which is something I picked when I was reading the book, art history, cultural studies, literature, and a myriad of other fields. In this work, Johannesburg is more than just a place and a space. Much like a character in a film, it is complex, it is multidimensional. The protagonist is Johannesburg, and Johannesburg manifests itself in a range of traits in this continuum, from negative to positive attributes and everything in between. The work invites us to consider District 9, not merely as an allegorical text. And a lot of works that have looked at District 9 have approached it from it's from the work as an allegory. Landi gives us a slightly different, a significantly different spin to it. It is a compelling representation of Johannesburg, a city often depicted as a nostalgic dystopia. And this is a visual idiom that Landi very deeply engages with. Johannesburg as this idiom, this visual idiom of Johannesburg as nostalgic dystopia. It asks why so many practitioners have chosen to frame the city in this negative, often dystopian terms, and why the imagery of decline, disorder, and decay has come to dominate the cinematic aesthetic of Johannesburg. The book therefore challenges us to probe beyond the surface, beyond the literary, and engage a lot more deeply, a lot more profoundly with Johannesburg as a city. Through its critical lens, Landi's book invites us to consider the problematic depictions that at times reflect thinking that could be considered classist, sexist, racist, and even anthropocentric. The portrayals the book suggests may reveal ideologies that are reductive, ideologies that are contested and harmful. So for me, this is not simply an academic inquiry. It is an urgent call, a rallying call to bring these biases to the surface, to confront them, and to begin the work of critiquing representations. Thank you very much for joining us today once again. I look forward to the many conversations, the many engagements, the insights that will emerge as we immerse ourselves into the pages of this book. District 9, Johannesburg as Nostalgic Dystopia by Landi, Raubenheimer. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks everyone, and thank you so much, Professor Mbala, for those amazing words. Sure, I hadn't actually prepared much to say tonight other than thank yous. A lot of the discussion around the artworks that you see on the walls, maybe you can just look at them as we're standing here and I can briefly say a few things. A lot of that discussion was going to be part of the seminar, which is still happening next week. So I hope that you will join me for that. It's a hybrid event, so you can always join online if you can't make it here. But these photographs are selections from the book. The book is obviously a study of District 9, chiefly. That's what I focus on. But these photographs, I think, are very productive when read in comparison to the movie. And so, you know, you might look at this and think, oh, and it's a pity that you can't see the bits of the film right now. They will be in my seminar presentation. I do have some clips that to just refresh your memory if you haven't seen the film recently. But really, this is about the kind of Johannesburg that appears in that film, and that's this idea of nostalgic dystopia. So that is something that I'll flesh out more at the seminar. I hope that it makes enough sense to people as it is, but the photographs are beautiful. They really are worth engaging with. I think, let me leave it there. Then the other thing that I wanted to say before I do my thank yous is just around the book itself. The book is here in an ebook version. They somehow got lost in the post, my physical copies. But there is the ebook if you want to scroll through the book and see what the book looks like. And the publishers have offered discounts. So if you would like to order a copy, you can order hard copies, you can order paperbacks, or the ebook. They all have different discounts that the publishers have kindly agreed to. So there is a sign-up sheet in the front on a plinth. So please make sure you order a book if you want to. I do have to punt my own book a little bit. All right, so then let me get to the thank yous. The first thank you, obviously, to Professor Mbala for his lovely introduction. And then I'd like to say a few words of thanks also to those who made today's event possible. Professor Brenda Schmarman and everyone at the SARChI chair for South African Art and Visual Culture, which is where we are. Thank you for making the space available and for your generous support and assistance in putting the show together. Thanks also to Paul Mills for the sound and photography today. There he is. Thanks goes to the curators of the UJ Gallery and the FADA Gallery, Dr. Dineke Orton and Dr. Farida Nazir, who both provided advice and were generous with lending the services of some of their gallery staff. Thank you to Dineke for helping me navigate so much red tape. Thanks also to Lesiba Molomo, who is here tonight, for his assistance in putting up this work, and Mark Sinoff, who helped me with the lighting. You need a lot of help, it turns out, when you're putting up an exhibition. The Goodman Gallery and Goldblatt Trust, as well as the Santi Mofokeng Foundation, generously agreed to lend me these amazing photographs. So thank you also to them and their staff. Now for the book. And it's a little bit bittersweet that you don't know more about the book, and I'm saying thank you to everyone who helped me write it. But I hope that you will at least look at the book. Several of the chapters actually are open access, so you can access the introduction as well as 4 other chapters online already. So you can have a look. It's thanks to my supervisors, Annie van den Oever and Federico Freschi, that I could complete the research for this book, which originated in the work for my PhD. They both provided mentorship and guidance, and this book would not be here without their support. I want to acknowledge some funding received from the Accelerated Academic Mentorship Program at the University of Johannesburg to complete this book, as well as funding from the Faculty of Art, Design and Architecture for open access fees for several of the chapters. I also benefited from the support of colleagues when I was conducting research which would later lead to writing this book. David Payton, who's here, who was a mentor to me, Ruth Lipschitz and Karine Basel, who helped me manage my teaching while writing, and Itunu Budanran and Constance Kasiamhura for their support as well. Thanks also goes to Amit Wadi, who has been my coach and has had many conversations with me about academia and life. Colleagues at the University of Groningen were also of great help over the years, particularly Julian Harnech, who first suggested I write this book. I'm also grateful to the series editor, Martin Rousseau, for the opportunity to publish this work and for his unwavering support and kindness. I also appreciate the faith that the publishers at Brill had in me, and Elizabeth Rankin's insightful editing and enthusiasm for the project have been invaluable. I'm grateful also for the opportunity to correspond with Neil Blomkamp in 2020 and for his generosity in sharing his thoughts and some of his process when making District 9. So there is an interview in the book, which might be interesting to some of you. Many of the images that appear in this book were shared by practitioners themselves, and some, including Xander Blom and Jonathan Koval, also engaged in substantial email exchanges with me. I've been lucky to have the support of friends over the years, Julie, Jordan, and Jules. Jess is also here, who have all heard far too much about this book, along with many other friends who know who they are and who will hopefully forgive me for not naming them individually. While many of those mentioned, that I've already mentioned, have inspired my passion for Johannesburg, I learned most about the medium of film from my greatest supporter, Dylan. Thank you for being there through it all. Thanks.
Thank you to Anthony for a lovely introduction, and to Landi for putting up this amazing exhibition and to accompany her book. So please take note that it's available, and do please join us next week for the seminar between 4 and 5:30 on Thursday the 27th. And please just enjoy a drink as well and some food before you leave. So welcome, enjoy the event.